Hi, I'm Dave from Military Antiques Toronto, and today I'm going to show you some of the things that have come in the door this week. It's been a bit crazy. I haven't had time to do any videos. I've been running like chicken my head cut off, so it's all good. So I'll get the small item out of the way first. So I had a walk-in of two US Airborne wartime patches. So one is obviously the 11th Airborne, the other's the 13th Airborne. What's nice about them is that the Airborne tab is actually on there. Instead of being added to it, which they did do, but this has actually been made this way. So if you look at the 11th Airborne patch there, you can see that this was not added at all. And if you look at the back, it clearly shows that it's still all embroidered as one piece. What you want to see with these is like a snowback like this or a greenback is wartime. There's others, of course, because they use Schiffle embroidery, which is a type of embroidery used to make US patches. And I'm not saying they're all like that, because of course there's Italian made, etc., and Japanese made at the end of the war. So, and of course someone's going to say, well, the end of the war is over if they're making them in Japan. Yeah, sure, okay, but you know what I mean. So then you get the 13th Airborne, and again, you can see that it's one piece. And on the back, again, we get that snow, which is what you like to see. And this is all one piece patch, not multi-piece. So that's a good thing to have on there because that gives you an idea that it is wartime. So that's cool. Not to say they didn't use these patches post-war, but, you know, at least you have an idea that it's a wartime made patch because, of course, they made tons of them and then they issued them after the war. So we're good. I couldn't say no. Do I need a ladle? No. Do I have a tureen? Yes. Do I need it? No. But it's Kriegsmarine. That's the only reason I bought it because I'm sure somebody is going to lose their mind and go, oh, I have to have that. So, as you can see right here, it's marked with a Kriegsmarine eagle. And that's the only marking on it besides this right there, which says rust-free, however you want to phrase it, depending on if you're German or not. I'm sure someone's going to try and correct me on that. No other markings that I've seen, but nicely marked. So, Kriegsmarine ladle, soup ladle, whatever, something different. One of those unusual items to find, I have this shovel. And you see pictures of guys in Northwest Europe wearing these on their packs, obviously for digging in and digging trenches. This one's 42 dated, and it's sea broad arrowed, and it's made by, as I try and read upside down, let's try that the other way. Bulldog, yes. So it's a T-handled shovel. You don't find them a lot over here. When I was in the Army, a long time ago, excuse me, the engineers would have shovels and we would have folding shovels. So that's what you use. So you'd have to go to the engineers to get your shovels if you were actually having to dig a trench instead of just digging something small. So that's kind of neat. It's sea broad arrow, but it's so faint that I don't think you're going to pick it up on the camera, so I won't show it. But I will show that it's clearly dated and maker marked right there. And I think, if I remember correctly, was there a date on here? Too many concerts and getting over a cold. No, there's no date that I can see on there. But wartime shovel, T-handle shovel, they're not that common. There's, as I said, pictures of the guys wearing these in Northwest Europe. So on the back of their packs. So that's kind of hard item to get. You know, it's not ultra rare, but it's not common either. Truthfully, I haven't had one of these in many years. So I picked that up. That came in, and I'll put that somewhere. That looks good. Then we have this unusual piece. I'm told this is Commando. Sorry. Yeah, Commando Mountain Troops. British. It's wartime. You know, I'm not so... I don't love this strap, truthfully. I don't love the handle, because to me it should be smoother. But you know what? I've never had one. I could be totally wrong. So it's British, it's World War II. What's nice about this is that, let's try and show you pictures. It's dated 44 there with a broad arrow. And let's see what this maker says. Whitehouse, Cannock, England. Yeah, and something else. So it's been painted black, obviously, because it's nice and black. But I don't love the stick, but I think it's right. I don't have a problem with it. This would be like a mountaineering axe, mountain climbing axe. you find the German ones, the Gebersjäger, which I've had. I've never had a British one, which is why I'm not so sure about the wood. But you know what? Worst case scenario, the metal's right, or at least it's marked as such, so I believe it to be correct. I don't think they make reproductions of this. Of course, you know, I don't know everything. But that's kind of cool. It's not something you see every day. We'll get that pictured and listed up on the website as soon as we get a chance. So there's another thing that came in the door. Let's hope nothing falls over again. And then we have these that came in the door. That was probably a week ago, actually. I'm finally getting around to it. So, Sporrans, great. All right, okay. So, we'll put the officers one off to the side for a second. With this, you can sort of see a genesis of how this worked. So, you can see that there were tassels on here. You can see the holes where the tassels were. You can also see, by reversing this, that they painted them green. And you can see the green paint on the back of the Sporran. Notice I'm showing the back of the Sporran there, Bill. And it's unusual because, you know, you thought they were maybe just green leather. No, they've been painted green. You can see the green paint on them. They're obviously been painted as such because that's not dye, like no way. And you can see where it's still brown here and it's green there. So these are Irish Regiment of Canada Sporrans. What's unusual is that it's a smaller regiment. You know, it's up in Sudbury. Stuff for this Irish Regiment doesn't really show up that often. I'm sure there's not 5 million collectors of it. I could be wrong. What do I know? They were 5th Division and they're in Italy during the war. What's nice is that these Sporrans are marked property of the Irish Regiment of Canada, Toronto, Canada, and they're numbered. So this one's 522, and this one here is also marked property of the Irish Regiment of Canada, and it's 6. And, well, we'll go with, I'm not sure. There's 3 digits there. It's hard to read in this light, but that's okay. So I'll show them under the light so you have a better idea. There you go, 522 and Irish Regiment, Toronto, Canada. So 3 tassel Sporran with the strap. I'd say they're wartime or pre-war. When they went to green, I honestly do not know. But again, it's marked Irish Regiment of Canada and Toronto. So, and then you see on the back the green paint that they used, and same with the strap. They did a better job on the strap, truthfully. In fact, I'm willing to bet they ordered the strap like that because you can see the fading of the dye on it. But on the rest of it, you can't. So, you know what? They don't turn up that often. Occasionally you find kilts. Of course, now I have kilts. Tunics aren't that common, but Sporrans are few and far between. I have some other oddball stuff that's even rarer, but you got to find someone who wants Irish Regiment of Canada. So there's those. Last but not least is what, in my opinion, is an officer's Sporran, again for the Irish Regiment of Canada. It's got the chains, it's got 2 tassels, and is it marked? Oh, it's named. Let's see. I'm not even going to try and read that, but it is Irish Regiment of Canada. So there's a Horsehair Sporran. Anything else? I'm sure that I know this is named, but I'm not going to try and read it right now because it's next to impossible. But it does say Irish Regiment. So unusual to find, truthfully, on the loose, an officer's Sporran. And of course, it's shedding all over my mat, but that's okay. It is what it is. So there's the back of it, Bill. In case you're all wondering, that's a running joke about someone who put out a book and didn't show the backs of the patches. So, and I'm sure I'm going to hear about that, but that's okay. It's all good. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for taking a look. Follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Check out the website. These Sporrans will actually be listed today. We're going to get to those. There's enough time, hopefully. Other than that, hope you're having a good time and look forward to seeing you back. Take care. Bye.